Sure, those Powerbeat headphones Apple showed off might look the business, but the reality is not everyone can afford the $199. I mean, how is it possible that a set of headphones with a fraction of the technology contained within an iPhone can cost one third of the price of an iPhone? Granted, a lot goes into speaker technology, but still. So today, I'm looking at completely the other end of the spectrum of headphones, with a price range that most mere mortals can afford, the Soundpeats Q12s. Who know if it's some dodgy translation it was meant to be Soundbeats, but hey, that didn't stop me trying to get a set to review. Still, with an asking price of $19.95 in the UK or $29.99 in the USA, expectations shouldn't be too high, but then again, my last inexpensive set of Bluetooth headphones completely won me over. Before my review units arrived, I raised my eyebrows skeptically after seeing the Amazon listing page. Yes, it comes with 3 different ear hooks and ear tips, weighs in at 15 grams, the magnetic feature letting you attach 2 earpieces together and wear it like a cool necklace, but it all falls down when you see built with aptX and Bluetooth 4.3, because according to Wikipedia, there is no such thing. Those of a self or style conscious nature may want to look elsewhere as these headphones protrude noticeably. You could be forgiven that they were designed in around an Ahura style communicator earpiece device, but if you stick with them, you reap the reward of a comfortable fit and, despite its look of bulk, a lightweight design that holds steadfast during physical activities. In the real world of trail running, 3 half marathons, cycling and general dog walking duties, never once have these fallen out or caused any discomfort, even with several hours of usage. With such a protruding set of earphones, things get bleaker in a headwind. Unless both are thermally lodged into the cranium, perhaps more than I'd be comfortable with, wind shear noise and whistle is amplified to dizzying effect. On a run, it's not that bad, unless it's a humdinger of a headwind, but on a cycle you end up having to crank up the volume to compensate. A bandana or buff helps no end, but that creates a whole load of health and safety issues on its own. Between each earpiece, the cord does a great job of keeping cable noise out, especially in those more vigorous activities. Being slightly stiffer than similarly reviewed units, never once have I noticed that distracting cable bounce, either worn down the front or wrapped around the back of my skull, so for comfort, it's a big thumbs up. This brings us nicely on to the controls. Button controls are nicely spaced on a flat controller, comprising volume up, down and power. A firm press between thumb and forefinger is needed to register a press, but the generous spacing meant I never accidentally hit the wrong button. Battery life hits a sweet spot of about 4 hours of listening, about a day and a bit on standby, and a few hours to charge up fully. A quick plug-in charge for 15 minutes gives you up to 45 minutes from a completely dead unit. And this brings me on to perhaps my biggest gripe with these headphones. For the love of God and any other deity you may or may not worship, please, 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 if any other headphone manufacturers out there are listening, do not have a voice that comes on every 18 seconds just to announce power low. Please, think of the children. Let's move on to the sound quality, and happily I would say not bad at all. There's nothing exactly special about the sound quality, and nor would I expect there to be at this price point for a set of wireless headphones. However, with a vast collection of music to test from, including Taylor Swift, Iron Maiden, dance, trance, podcasts and everything else in between, never once have I been unhappy with the sound. Stereo separation is clear and obvious, high-ends manage to avoid any semblance, and, well, a bit more booty in the bottom end would be nice for some bass, but overall a capable set of headphones. However, as good as any product is, there is always the proverbial fly in the ointment. Now, for months, these never missed a beat. As I've said earlier on, they've coped with runs, cycles, general dog walking duty across rugged terrain, and then one day, they just steadfastly refused to support. Now, this is where things get a little bit shonky. Support. As good as a product is, sometimes it's going to be let down by one thing or another, and in this case, it's support. Now, as I've said earlier on, for months, these have never missed a beat. They've coped with runs, cycles, and general Support. As I've said earlier, these have never Support. For months, these have never missed a beat, coping with runs, cycles, and general dog walking duties across rugged terrain. And then one day, they simply steadfastly refused to connect to my iPhone. Now, normally, pairing is achieved by pressing and holding down the power button. A voice then declares power on, followed by pairing. This time around, no voice was to be heard, and despite a flashing blue-red LED light to indicate pairing, nothing was happening. Powering off and then back on with a myriad of button presses proved to be a futile effort and left two Labradors wondering what the heck was going to hold up our Saturday afternoon run. After 15 minutes it was time to get the manual, but the manual's a bit basic to say the least. Great for describing the functions and how to use them, but in the realms of a chocolate teapot when it comes to troubleshooting. Same for the website, and even with a stupid amount of time spent googling for the issue, all I could find was a PDF model with a similar problem to a completely different model. Some 45 minutes later, after a strange and complex ritual of plugging in the USB cable while pressing and holding buttons, all whilst chanting an ancient and arcane incantation, I was suddenly able to connect and listen. This is always a problem when buying Chinese-based electronics at this price. When they work, a certain amount of smugness is permitted in the knowledge you bought something that works just as well as higher priced products. The price to pay is that if it goes wrong, you're pretty much screwed. At £19.59 or $24.99 at the time of this review for the Soundpeats Q12, I would put these in the category of, well, heavily consider. That's if you can bear the pokey out style of these headphones. The controls are solid, and after real world punishment, durability, I have absolutely no problems at all. They're still holding together nicely. It really is a shame now about the lack of English support, i.e. none, from Soundpeats themselves and on their own website. However, that is the price you pay for a set of wireless headphones of this nature, and aside from that one time of pairing help, they have been flawless. One final mention is the carrying case, which is a nice practical hard shell accessory that comes with them, and if you have a look at the $99 Jaybird sports headphones, it really does match that in terms of quality. I know because I have a set. If I had to rate these earphones on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give them a 7.5 and place it in the heavily consider category. If you've enjoyed this review, you can find me over on essentialapple.com, follow me on the Twitter at essentialapple, and guess what? It's on YouTube under Essential Apple. Thanks for watching.